The Alexandra Hospital in Singapore is more than 80 years old. It was formerly known as the British Military Hospital, established in 1938, a leading British hospital in the Far East, and the most modern hospital in the Asia-Pacific region, saving countless lives during World War II. The hospital was built with the possibility of war in mind and was designed with underground operating rooms. Today, the hospital's wartime medical equipment is well preserved.
This is one of the 4 entrances to the tunnels, the network of tunnels that actually exist on this campus. As we walk deeper in, notice that most of this structure has been left largely untouched over the years. In the past, when this started to be built in 1938, most of the structures that were inside were meant to accommodate an emergency underground operating theatre.
In February 1942, the Japanese invaded Singapore from the north, taking by surprise the British troops who were heavily deployed to the south. A small resistance force retreated to Alexandra Hospital. Ignoring the international conventions, the Japanese troops rushed into the hospital and slaughtered the doctors and patients. More than 250 people died. The most distinctive feature of the British trials of Japanese war criminals was that they paid much attention to the crimes committed against local residents. If local POWs and civilians were taken into account, about 2/3 of the victims were Asians, many of whom were Chinese. After the attack on Pearl Harbor on December the 8th, 1941, Japan invaded Malaya. Then, the Japanese massacred the Chinese in many villages there. Men and women, old and young, were killed indiscriminately. Kota Tinggi, Malaysia, is the birthplace of Zaliha Sumun. 84-year-old Zaliha was born in a Chinese family with 5 siblings. At the age of 6, she experienced a tragedy she would never forget.
Daripada apa yang saya tahu, ianya berlaku pada Februari 1942, di mana nenek saya sedang berumur 6 tahun. Situasi pada pagi itu tenang, mereka sedang bermain di luar dan tiba-tiba sekumpulan askar Jepun telah datang untuk mengambil semua kaum Cina. Dan itu termasuk ibu bapa nenek saya. Mereka dibawa ke kebun getah, lalu mereka dipancung beramai-ramai.
At the time, the youngest of Zaliha's 5 siblings was only 1 year old, and the oldest 16. She and her siblings survived the Japanese slaughter thanks to their Malayan neighbor who took them away. Since then, young Zaliha grew up in a Malayan family. The death toll of overseas Chinese, like Zaliha Sumun's parents in Malaya, came to 71,000 persons.